Warren of their expeditions to Hudson Bay. Both shared their modest depictions through youthful eyes embarking on their first major expedition. They acknowledged that their companions were catalysts for stewarding the excursions into reality. They traveled with best friends, all anxious about their futures after the trips, and something inside them stirred to suggest a knowing that they must take the challenge. If they did not try, regret would follow them later in life. Anne and Natalie would be heralded for showing that adventure can still be had in a changing environment, and that women have not only a place in the landscape of adventure, but an important voice that needs to be heard. Hudson Bay Bound offers an important and unique perspective on how much had indeed changed with the lakes, rivers, communities, and people who live along these shores in the 81 years since Sevareid and Port encountered them. Pollution, agriculture, erosion, flooding, and, of course, the injection of human-made structures have altered the river's personality and course. Eric Sevareid gives us a portrait of the life of the Cree and fur traders, and the narrative continues as Natalie bears witness to both the dying and the thriving communities along these waterways. She illuminates for us that urban waterways are complex because of the human element. After reading Natalie's honest account, I am inspired by what I glimpsed on the shores of the Mississippi when we first met. Her twinkle, zest, and determination in all she goes after. Her journey with Anne reveals the physical landscapes, hardships, and human encounters. It also uncovers the heart of any good journey, the human spirit. A spirit that pushes through long hours of the day, wrong turns, dams, tough weather, fears, and the stresses such a journey puts on even your closest friendship. Rain, wind, night skies, and endless days are the elements that lead to self-inspection and the ability to listen to yourself. Natalie's fearless internal exploration is the miracle of every good journey. It is there where the real discovery of your courage, determination, and love will take you next. While on their journey, Natalie and Anne inspired curiosity among people living along the rivers and lakes, many of whom had never engaged in or thought about the waters before. I hope this story, with all its humor and humility that burbles to the surface, enlivens your spirit and curiosity as it did mine. Prologue. Sometimes a great adventure lands in your lap. That's exactly what happened on a chilly February day in my dorm room at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. Anne flung open the door of my room with fire in her eyes and a book in her hand. I had been cooped up all day writing a paper. The interruption, although abrupt, was a welcome break to a gloomy and uneventful day. She lingered in the doorway with a familiar smirk on her face. "Yes, Anne? How can I help you this fine evening?" I asked facetiously. We'd been scheming trips together for 4 years, and it seemed every adventure started with Anne standing in the doorway with that same expression. She threw the book at me from across the room. "Read this," she said. "We should do it." I looked down at the book, Canoeing with the Cree, now lying on the bed in front of me. There was a silhouette of 2 people paddling a canoe on the cover. I looked back up to respond, but Anne was gone. The monotony of the day was getting to me. I needed a break. Reading a chapter or 2 would provide a welcome respite from schoolwork. But after the first few chapters, I just kept going, flying through the story of 2 men, Eric Sevareid and Walter C. Port, who in 1930 paddled from Minneapolis to Hudson Bay. They were fresh out of high school and didn't have sleeping bags or maps for the long journey. Their story was documented by the Minneapolis Star